Welcome back, YouTube. So I wanted to point out a couple things that's going on right now. If you've watched some of my more recent videos, I mentioned that typically the top three things that can affect coin price would obviously be macro news, a sell-off in BTC, or a Doge specific sell-off or a Doge specific new shock value, something like that. So but right now we're seeing something more on the macro end, even though we're not really seeing a sell-off. What we're experiencing is lower volume because of the uncertainty. And why is that? That's because today we got some interesting news as far as for how the White House is going to move forward, at least the current administration, how they're going to move forward dealing with crypto. And pretty much we're getting a strong no across the board when it comes down to financial firms being able to hold crypto, right? So you can find this on Bitcoin Magazine. You'll see a couple articles. Trump just recently said he's fine with crypto, literally about 20 minutes ago, and that if you want crypto to go through, vote Trump. Biden or the current administration, they're the ones that's pretty much rejecting or leading the rejection for um, the institutions, meaning like BlackRock or like a Vanguard or something like that, being able to hold custody of like a Bitcoin or whatever coins that they really want. They're not going to be able to hold. And I imagine they're probably going to take the angle for keeping it with like a brokerage or pretty much denying them brokerage license. And you're saying that, okay, well, you're going to have to kind of keep it separate so that you're not going to have like a BlackRock brokerage or something that's going to have the equivalent to get like the license of something like a Robinhood so that they can do stocks and crypto. So it looks like they're trying to kind of keep that separate. I have a video that I'm working on. It's going to be a much longer video, but I have some theories as to why this is happening. But I'll save that for later. But the biggest thing that we've seen this year is a few hours ago. It says legislation that would overturn the SEC rule preventing highly regulated financial firms from custodying Bitcoin and crypto passes the House. Right. So in a nutshell, this is going to send shockwaves or have shock value in the community. Now, it hasn't been enough to create a panic or a sell off, but it has been enough to kind of pump the brakes on anything. So that's why we're experiencing very low volume here across the board. Now, do I believe this? I know someone's going to ask, do I believe this is going to stop the bull run or cause like a crash and send Bitcoin below 20,000 and send Doge back to 6 cents and all that kind of stuff? No, that wasn't, none of the cycles have depended on institutions being able to hold crypto. And obviously that's a big factor as far as for um, them buying in and decreasing the overall supply. Yes, absolutely, that can help. But thus far, that hasn't been a major factor here. And obviously, institutional money coming into the market is a good thing just because of the sheer volume. But even prior to this, and even in 2020, that wasn't the case as far as for them trying to necessarily get like an ETF or being able to hold crypto, make money off of exchange fees, all that good stuff. That wasn't something that was going on. They were simply investing to make money, and they'll continue to do so. And obviously, being able to hold crypto, conduct business with via ETFs or have futures, all that kind of good stuff, and being able to hold the asset. And obviously, that puts them in their hand in a much stronger position. But I don't necessarily believe that's going to force them to exit the market. And they're like, okay, fine, we're not going to deal with crypto anymore. I don't think that's going to happen. As a matter of fact, I highly doubt it, even with the amount of coins that these institutions have already purchased and that they already own. So I just think that more so right now, what we're seeing is kind of like some shock value. So you're seeing kind of like this sideways movement and this stagnant movement. But overall, it's not like that's going to prevent the bull run or something like that. And this is one of the things where it's very important to know the length of the cycle, and so that we are not getting caught up in like short-term data and applying it and saying, "Oh, this is causing panic," or saying, "Oh, the bull run's over," or something like that. This is the importance of having an 18-month bull run because there's going to be many things coming out right now, especially with the number of retailers coming into these coins, the amount of money that's on the line with institutional involvement coming into this coin. And then now we have the current administration putting resistance against the crypto market. So all these things kind of play in there, and you're going to have things shuffling around, and it's going to send the market up and down based off of what's being said and the time frame that we have. Because we have around 5.21 million wallets now. I don't know if you guys saw that. 82% are in profit. So this is what I meant by the wallets are growing month over month, which is really a good thing. The Doge community is growing, but I wanted to point out the volume that we're seeing here. So for Bitcoin, last 24 hours, we're looking at around 25 billion, right? For volume. And this is what I was saying earlier on X. I was saying that overall, this isn't something that we're seeing. It's not like we're experiencing an actual sell-off or something. We're talking about just a slight push down here over the last 24 hours. On the 7-day, most of the coins are green, including Doge. Doge is still up 14.84%. On the 1 hour, most of the coins are green. It's just the last 24 hours, some of them have gotten hit. Doge has gotten hit 3.44%, Solana 3.08, Tether 0.03, Ethereum 0.91, and Bitcoin 1.60. But overall, it's the volume that what we're seeing is kind of being low. Because right now, you'll see that Doge is barely over 1 billion in volume here for the last 24 hours. So the volume is certainly in the next coin here. Look at the difference here in volume, right? So look at the number 8, which is Dogecoin, right? 1.1 billion, right? Look at this drop here from number 9, 208 million, right? Look at Cardano, 515 million, 402 million for Shiba Inu, 397. Like I'm talking like volume across the board is flatlining for today. So I know because some of these numbers still seem huge, but for the overall, for where we are in the cycle and for what's going on, typically the volume is a lot higher. So this is what I mean by when you have shock value on certain days when news comes out, whether that be from macros and stuff like that, you're going to see like that shock value take effect in the overall market, and it'll cause like the coins to go sideways or go down. They're like, oh my God, is it about to tank? And based off of the last few weeks, people, especially coming off of a rally, people say, oh my God, is it going to dip back down to 12 cent or something, and kind of cause like somewhat of a panic, even though the market is pretty much holding steady here, and we're just kind of seeing some shock value overall. So keep in mind that we're going to see ups and downs, and another thing that's going to be separate and really different from previous runs is the fact that this is an election year. Now, typically speaking, and again, I'm not going to try and turn this into a political video, but typically speaking, the market has to do good if the current administration wants to get reelected, especially around election time. You can't have the market in a free fall and expect to get reelected. That typically does not happen, and it's very bad for the current administration. So I do expect the markets, both markets, not just crypto, I expect crypto and the stock market to be performing well around later this year. And I think that one of the things that the community has to kind of brace for is the volatility that's going to be coming there, because crypto is going to be a discussion. Like during the debates, crypto is going to be a discussion. What's being said about crypto during those debates is certainly going to be affecting price based off of who's winning and leading in the polls at that time. People are going to try and position themselves ahead of time based off of what the polls are saying and what's being said specifically related to crypto. So just kind of prepare for that we're going to be seeing some swings here later this year. Now, and it also kind of gives you the idea of, and when you say the crypto bull run is 18 months, and you can say, okay, well, we'll start to ascend in the peak bull run maybe by later this year. And if it'll repeat like a 2016 or 2020, that'll head over in 2025, and that's when we'll actually peak. Because outside of that point, the reason that you can kind of align that with history is you'll know who the next president is going to be, what the next administration is going to look like, and whether or not they're going to favor crypto. So that will play a big part into that, because let's say, Trump is saying he's very pro crypto right now. It's not going to have an issue with it. Let's just say that there is an opportunity for him to win, and then he does win, and he becomes the president-elect, and starting January, February, we're going to start to see crypto kind of trend with a similar pattern with 2020 and 2016, where people are going to say, okay, well, we believe that now all these institutions, BlackRock, Vanguard, they're going to be able to hold crypto. We're going to get the futures. We're going to get all that kind of good stuff. So you'll see more aggression and more bullishness overall in the market. So let's kind of keep that in perspective there going forward, because it certainly will play a big effect on a price action and the volatility that we're going to see. But just kind of brace yourself for later on in the year. So right now, let's go to where we are right now. Right now, we're at around the 14. So this is what I was talking about the other day when I was saying that if in the event we have the 14 cross the 72 to the upside, I don't know when that'll be, because obviously there's a space here. We'll keep track of that. That's what can cause, if we're having a repeat of that previous level, that's what can send us to around that 45 cent mark, that 39 to 45 cent mark. As that gets closer, because I do believe obviously the 14 across the 72 at some point. As that gets closer, we'll chart that, but that's just something to kind of look for in the future to see where that cross is going to be, because even if we consolidate around the 15, that just means that the 72 is going to start to curve closer down here. So you don't know exactly where that cross is going to be just yet, just because there's a bigger divergence here. Overall, let's see if shorts have been coming out. So that lets you know right there, there's not confidence. Everything's flatlined. So even the shorts for the day, they're either coming out or they're being very subtle. So right now, nobody knows what to expect here with this news. So you're seeing the flat line in shorts that's matching the volume. But overall, again, this isn't the like an end all be all. It's just some macro news coming out. There's going to be plenty of macro news this election year. So it's not a reason to panic or start trying to call the top in any crypto, not just Doge, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. It's not a reason to start trying to call the top, because we are nowhere near finished as far as we're in this cycle. There's a lot of other factors that are out there, and we have a lot more time in this space historically to get into the run. So it's still very premature and very early to start seeing things are like the calling a top or saying the run is over or we're about to consolidate 80% from here and all that kind of good stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind, what's going on, and kind of keep your ear to the ground, because this is going to be, crypto is going to be a hot topic this year. And, kind of look out for those three things. If you're not very savvy and keeping up with all the information, I know it comes relatively quickly, you can attribute it most dips or I'll say divergences in the price action based off of those three things, which is going to be a Bitcoin sell-off, macro news, or something specific to Doge, like an Elon catalyst, Doge whale selling, X payment, something like that. That's going to affect Doge specifically. But typically you can categorize any major price movement into those three categories. So hope that sheds some light. Hope that kind of clears some things up as far as what's going on. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you found value, please consider subscribing. We are still going to beat Bitcoin to $100,000 by getting 100,000 subscribers first. So if you can help with that, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.